Hi, my name is Ashton Edwards, and this is presentation 1 of the Accounting 6650 class. I've chosen to do my presentation on the first case within the Chapter 2 cases, which is the case where Barbara, an auditor, finds herself in a situation where her coworker, Diane, discovers a deficiency in the inventory system of the client long after the physical observation has been complete. And she chooses to withhold this information from the senior partner on the case, or on the audit. Whether out of fear or just because it's an immaterial deficiency, for whatever reason, she chooses to withhold this information, and it puts Barbara in a very uncomfortable situation where she must decide whether or not she's going to tell the senior client. So I'd like to answer the 2 questions within this case and explain my feelings behind the case as well. So the first question is, how does Kohlberg's model of moral development relate to the established norms of this group? So I believe there are actually 2 levels and stages that this group kind of applies to, and how Barbara fits into the group. The first stage, or the first level, is level 2, which is the conventional level. Stage 4, which is law and order. I think Barbara is very afraid of breaking any kind of laws or rules, whether with the government or her own audit firm. She's afraid of getting in trouble, and so therefore she feels the need to make the decision to tell the senior partner so that she can avoid any kind of trouble. I also think the second level it falls under is level 3, which is post-conventional. Stage 5, which is social contract. Barbara is concerned with offending or making her teammates mad because she was outvoted by her teammates. Should she choose to tell the senior partner, she will be breaching a social contract of sorts. And so I think she's worried about that, and that is definitely playing and weighing into this decision she must make. So the question is, what would I do in this situation? And given what we've learned in this chapter, using the GVV, the giving voice to values decision-making framework, I think this is the perfect way to analyze all the different angles of the decision we must make. And so that is definitely what I'd use in this case. So the first step of that is finding the main arguments that we need to counter. So the main arguments in this case is, number 1, Diane may be a very good auditor with a lot of experience, and maybe she truly does know that this is just an immaterial deficiency and doesn't need to be discussed, doesn't need to be brought up further, and might just be a waste of time time that they don't have. So that's one counter argument that Barbara's going to have to counter, that I would counter. And the second thing is, the majority of the group voted that they would not disclose this information. And so by going against the group, you are questioning their professional judgment and their wisdom as well. So you're going to have to counter that argument that you went against your team. And so those are pretty big arguments to counter. The second step is, what's at stake for the key parties? There are really 3 key parties here: Diane and those who voted to not disclose this information. Their professional reputations are on the line should you basically tattle on them. 2, the audit firm's reputation is at risk should Barbara not tell, should she not tell the senior partner. What if the client is concealing fraud? Kind of a big deal. And the 3rd, the client may be at risk if truly they don't know that their inventory is at risk and they weren't told. So, 3rd step is, what levers can Barbara use, or I use, to influence those with whom we disagree? I think it would be a very big step to work with Haley, the other person that disagreed with the group, and to come up with a way to effectively tell the partner, 1. And 2, I think it would be important and a good leverage to be able to talk to the group and explain that they are breaching very serious standards of conduct, rules within the profession that would put them at risk at losing their jobs, and also it could put them at a negligence of due care. And 4, what is the most powerful response to the rationalizations we must address? I think first and foremost, it is that. It's explaining that they're breaking extreme profession violations that could bring real consequences to these auditors. I also think it would be good for me just to explain I don't want to be caught up in something that I didn't have any choice. I didn't have any choice in. So I would definitely tell the senior client, the senior partner, that my client's inventory is deficient. So that is just my little presentation. and I hope that helps us make better choices when caught up in these situations.